Well, we'll start right now because it's 12 and you know everyone's busy. Got a schedule to keep. So if you aren't already set up, we got our mat going on and we have the chair for bar, but anything for balance is helpful, like a sturdy table or desk. And then if you have music and you'd like to play some music, please go ahead and do so. Any of the movement I do today, you can definitely modify, make it work for you. And let's get started with the warm up. Oh, I'm gonna keep my long sleeve on for now. I'm a little chilly. All right. So bar is borrowed from ballet. It's ballet inspired. So there's a few positions in ballet that we do, but really not much. I really do a more fitness-based bar class here. Having said that, this is first position. If you've never heard that, you'll see other toes apart. We're going to start with a reach of the right arm, high overhead, and then lean to your left. You're going to feel that lengthening and stretching of the right side. Come back to neutral spine, chest lifted, abdominals braced in. I mean, we are kind of stretching right now, so don't worry too much about the abdominal bracing at this current moment. We want to keep breathing because, you know, that's good for us. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bend. Inhale, reach again. Exhale. Just waking up the body. We've been sitting still the last several hours or lying in bed for the last several hours. Oh, I forgot to mute you guys. Oops. Not that anyone's gonna scream, but just okay. So one more time on each side. And then let's go ahead and go into our plies. So a little knee bend in the same direction as our toes. If you want to engage the arms, you can have them soft, relaxed. I mean, shoulders engaged, but no tension in the neck, is what I mean. I always like to keep my arms just a little bit below my shoulders, just to ensure that I don't accidentally elevate my shoulders. You can go at any pace here. Again, we're warming up the body, bringing movement into the body, getting the blood flowing. Maybe slowly increasing the heart rate a little bit. This is a low impact exercise, so we're not going to be shooting our heart rates through the roof here. The chair for balance. So when we come onto our toes, like right now, I'm going to move a little closer. You can use the chair. Just lightly place a few fingers on the chair. We're not going to grab it, grip it tightly. It is there to assist with our balance, but we still should hopefully have balance. If you want to work on your balance, then you can take your hands off the chair or keep it light, just hovering over the chair so it's there when you need it. All right, lots of options for arms here. Going into the plie and into the heel raise, feel free to slow us down a little bit. I'm not bending too much. We generally don't want the knees to shoot past the toes. And now here's a good time to start to brace the abs. It helps with balance and alignment, the chest up. All right. Whenever we move a leg, we generally move the outside leg. That way we don't accidentally kick the chair. So we're going to start by moving our outside leg out into second position and back into first. Out into second, and you can drag your feet back into first. A little bit of friction here. And the more you kind of create friction, you'll feel a little bit in the inner thigh. And now we're ready to go into a plie. So there's the plie. And then as I straighten my legs, both of them, I'm still creating that dragon. And whatever you want to do with your arms, you can do. Sometimes it's too much to choreograph arms and legs. I want people to focus really on the legs now. Good. So you might not need that balance right now. So have both arms off. Now, if the sort of the friction of the mat underneath your feet, if you don't enjoy this, you can just step it in. Oh, sorry. So there's no friction. Notice how I just stepped in. Okay, we're going to create a little more challenge. So here's the knee bend, right? The plie. And then we've been straightening the leg. So we're going to not straighten the leg. There is another plie. And then step it out into the plie. Now, it's okay if you come up a little bit because you generally have to in order to allow the weight transfer. But then when you get to your final destination, our first position, instead of straightening your legs all the way, we're going to stay in another little plie. And similar, if you are not doing the drag, you're going from plie to plie. All right? This is going to challenge our muscles a little more, especially the non-moving leg, because it's staying in a plie bent shape, bent position, which means the muscles are staying overloaded. Let's do about 4 more. 4. I'm going to show some dragging ones. 3, 2, and 1. Good. So the leg that is working or should be feeling a little more fatigue is the inside leg. I'm going to move my chair. Feel free to do works for you. You need to turn around. So same thing. Step it out and drag. Legs straight for now. Let's give our legs a little break. When our legs are straight, yes, obviously there's some muscle engagement, but there is less muscle engagement. When we're in the squats, that's when there's more challenge. Yeah, keep going. And by the way, remember you can grab water at any time. Okay, so I don't think I need my chair. So now we're going to step out into the plie and then straighten our legs as we drag the leg in or step it in. I'm not sure if you can tell when I'm dragging versus not dragging. Kind of a very minimal change in movement there on the screen, but hopefully you know what I'm talking about. I can definitely hear my feet dragging. I don't know if you can. So work at your own pace. Kind of doing about anywhere from 16 to 20 reps. But again, if you're moving a little faster, a little slower, then you might do a little more. But you should feel generally about the same amount of fatigue on each leg. All right, let's try keeping the plie. So here, plie, here, plie. Second position plie, first position plie. And already I can start feeling that burning sensation in my non-moving leg. Let's do about 2 more here. And hopefully you're starting to feel pretty warmed up. All right, good. Shaking it out. So the reason I keep flipping the chair side to side is because we always move the outside leg, and the standing leg, the inside leg, is what's getting tired. So if I didn't switch sides, then we're going to be continuing to overwork or work our inside leg. Hopefully it's not too tedious to move the chair wherever it is you are, or we consider that part of the workout of barre. All right, so we've got we're gonna face our chair. Whenever I face the chair, this is the outside leg, and so when I face the chair, the front leg, the outside leg continues to be the same leg. So in this case, it's the front leg. But not a big deal if you want to stay in the same direction and just use your back leg when you switch direction. I just do this for my own consistency purposes when I teach. Okay, so we're going to be lifting our leg straight back and then to the side. Let me just show you here. This is the straight back. And then when we go to the side, I'm going to bend my knee. And it's going to be a lateral movement. So let me just turn my body so you can sort of see in all angles what's going to happen. All right. Sometimes I call this move the rover. It's like a male dog marking his territory. So you don't want to be right next to the chair. You want to be a little bit behind so that when you lean forward with a slanted or tilted neutral spine, so as raised chest up, that you can then reach your chair comfortably. Not a strained reach, okay? But again, if you're too close, then you're kind of just hovered over. All right, so this setup, once we're there, feet are parallel, directly underneath the hips, kneecaps and toes facing the chair. Go ahead and do your sweep back, hips squared, legs nice and straight. Good. So the setup is always a little longer, but once we get it set up, the other side will be a breeze. Bend the knee. Good. So now the knees are next to each other, and then we swing the leg to the side. And then from here, release. Okay? Oh, so try not to lock the knees out. Extend the leg, hold the knee in, reach it to the side, return, and then straighten the leg. We're back to starting position. Arabesque. Brace the abs here so we don't accidentally arch the back too much. Knee in, next to each other, out to the side, lateral movements, return, and straighten. We're staying with the same leg. Keep alternating the breath. Okay, so we have, you can exhale here if you want. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Breath in to reset. Exhale. To really squeeze the quadriceps, squeeze your butt, abs tight. That's to protect the lower back. We're finding the range of motion in our pelvis. All right, so notice that I'm not opening up here. When I swing the leg out, I'm also not opening up. I'm really trying to keep my pelvis square to the floor the entire time. All right, let's do one more. Should be our 8th one-ish. All right, so standing leg might be getting a little fatigued, but we got more work to do. We're gonna do this a little bit quicker and then without putting the foot on the ground. So arabesque, knee bend, out to the side, lower, arabesque. There we go. Out to the side. Perfect. Arabesque, rover. Looking good. Let's do 4 more. Standing leg, knees slightly bent. I know it's doing a lot of stabilizing work. 3 more. 2 more, and then we'll take a little break and we'll finish with the pulsing finale. You know, the dreadful pulses. Quick shakeout. We're still on the same side. We're going to kick it back when we do the arabesque. Pulse for 16, 16, 8, 8, 4, 4, 2, 2. All right. Let's hope I can count. Here we go. Arabesque for 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now take it to the side. Hands gently on the chair. I'm not gripping it. I just have my heel of palms on there. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, arabesque for 8 pulses. You don't need to keep your head and neck turned onto the screen. Try to have your head and neck, oops, that thing. 8 to the side. Try to have your head and neck aligned with spine. 4, 3, 2, 1. Back for 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4 pulses here. And 2 and 2. As we get more and more fatigued, we do a little less. Okay, and that's it. That's it for that side. So now you know what's coming. We're going to start from the beginning, nice and slow. Set it up, feet parallel. Find that neutral spine. Press a nice slow arabesque. Things might be a little different from one side to another. Maybe you might feel a little less range of motion on this hip. Straighten the leg, reset. Arabesque. So there is something to be said about this slow, pretty extremely slow movement, right? It's a lot of muscles involved, not at all any momentum. When we start pulsing, there's a little bit of speed there, which then translates to a little bit of momentum. So we're trying to work all our muscles through the different ways that it can be worked. Basically slowly, out of control, really set up the technique here. There's time to think about technique. Sometimes when we move too quickly, we don't pay attention to technique much. Good. Chest, abs, spine pretty much doesn't move throughout the series here. And also our standing leg, it stays slightly bent, doesn't really move either. And now that you know what's happening, you don't really need to turn your head to look at me. If that's where your device is, you can stare at the floor, maybe 3 or 4 feet ahead of you, at the chair. You don't want to look straight down because that does not align your head and neck to your spine. You also don't want to look up at the wall because your spine is tilted. So what you want to do is kind of stare at this diagonal way. All right, one more. And then we can go into our slightly faster paced movement where we don't put the feet on the floor. Keep alternating the breath. Quick shakeout if you need. All right, here we go. Arabesque. Knees in, out to the side. To the arabesque. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Whatever breathing pattern works for you, just keep alternating the breath. So lots to think about, not just our standing leg staying slightly bent, but also our abdominals staying braced, chest up. Keeping your hips square, the chair to the floor. As we extend the leg, we feel the butt and the quadriceps. And as we go to the side, we feel your outer thighs. All right, that was good. That should have been about 8. One more quick shakeout. And then the pulses. All right. So 16, 8, 4, 2. Okay, position ready, and pulse for 16. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Out to the side. Eight more. Try to get that shin parallel. 4, 3, 2, and 1. 8 and 8. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. As your leg, your standing leg gets more and more fatigued, you're going to want to straighten. And remind yourself, Keep the knees slightly bent. 4 and 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. It's okay if you're going at a slightly different pace than me. Last 2. Sometimes seems kind of pointless. Why are you doing 2 pulses? Doesn't feel like much. Well, just to complete the circuit. Okay, shake it out, shake it out. Continue with more and more legs. So I, in my Barre Fitness class, I start with legs. So probably have another like 5 minutes or so, and then I move into some upper body. And we do some legs and arms together. And then we finish with some abdominal work. All right, so here, we're gonna go into our lunge. So I'm turned out, my outside leg reaches out to the side. I'm going to draw a diagonal line back into a curtsy lunge. Now, if a curtsy lunge does not feel right for you, it's just totally fine. You can keep your feet in parallel. You can tap to the side or you can tap forward and then draw the line straight back. Okay, if you tap to the side, that's fine because it'll look like what we're doing with the other curtsy lunge. But then when you bring your leg back, you do want to go straight back for the lunge. Okay, curtsy lunges is a turned out lunge position. That's the difference. But the toes and knees for both lunges are in the same direction as each other, and that's really important. So tap, draw the line back, kind of dragging my feet a little bit there on purpose. Tap. And lunge. Okay, let's just set this up for now. Your arm is looking for something to do. You can lift it there. So notice my knees and toes are turned out. It's I was in first position, right? And my leg didn't do anything other than bend sort of into that plie. One more here. We're gonna add some pulses. So before you add the pulse, you're gonna do a lift. There's a lift, and then all the way back. And that's how we're gonna add the pulse. Can't really pulse with the foot on the ground. Lift. Lift as high as you can with your hip flexor and quad strength. No need to use momentum to like kick it in the air. We're not going to do that. Very controlled lift. Abs tight, chest up. Maybe about 3 more. And then for fun, why don't we pulse but go up instead of down? No, that'd be so hard, wouldn't it? To keep adding more and more. All right, let's do 16 down to 2 again. Maybe one day I'll do the reverse. All right, so 16 pulses. So as my leg lifts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more. Keep those shoulders down. Standing legs soft. 4, 3, 2, and 1. I don't know if you can tell if my standing leg is soft because I'm in black leggings, but like I said, I'm not locking that joint out. 16 here. We're staying low for 16. Kind of just keeping the range of motion to about 2 inches. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Now kick for 8. Very small range. Look at my range of motion. And 8 lunges. For 4. Now the reason why you want to be really small is because you're really looking for the peak of the motion. All right, if your range is too big, then you're kind of letting the leg relax. 2. And 2. All right, switch sides. I didn't feel too bad, did it? We should have done 32 pulses. All right, same setup as before. We did straight line, linear lunges. Go ahead and do that on the side again. Turn out, tap, drag a diagonal line back nice and slowly. Set up this movement pattern. Take your time with this. One reason I pick curtsy lunges and bar a lot more than I do basic lunges is because, you know, you do these curtsy moves in ballet, and also they have what's called first and fifth position, or this turned out position. So it just kind of goes in line with the ballet theme, and in the lunges that you're traditionally seeing in fitness class are more like boot camps. So I'm just trying to go along with the theme, but again, lunges are good for you no matter which version you do. Let's do the leg lift. So I don't want you to feel like you're not doing a curtsy lunge, you're missing out on something. No, it's just a variation. Lift, lower. Maybe 3 more. Okay, so that takes our 8. And now we're going to pulse for 16. Lift for 1, 2. Keep the range small and high. Standing legs soft. Abs braced. 4, 3, 2. We curtsy, lunge, and pulse. Chest up. Vertical. 8 more. 3, 2, 1. Lift for 8. Lunge for 8. 4, 3, 2, and 4. Don't worry too much about the numbers. Gives us something to aim for, but really it's about aiming for that fatigue. You do a little extra, a few less, because you're listening to your body. Is that the 2? It's so hard to just do 2. I just want to do more. All right, so always listen to your body. Keep breaks when you need. Okay, so we're about done with our lower body part, but we're going to start to add in some upper body. So you may or may not need the chair. So I'm going to keep it in the picture for now. So if you do need the chair, you can face it. If you don't need the chair, your arms can reach high over the chair. Let me show you what we're doing first of all. This is your normal lunge, but we're not actually lunging in the sense that we're bending the back. All right, this is sort of a lunge position, but the back leg is straight. I view this more as a stretching lunge. Get a nice stretch in the calf. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull the elbows back to work on our shoulder blades and lats. So this pulling back motion isn't just I'm going to move my elbows back, but I'm really going to think about squeezing my shoulder blades together, opening up my chest, and then I'm going to almost propel myself up and forward. And I'm going to pull again. So as I'm pulling, my heel is down. I feel a nice calf stretch. My quads are engaged. Let's just set this up properly. Feet are in its individual train tracks, hip distance apart, so they're not on a tight rope. Push up. So right here is where you can put your hands. Okay, and then since both our feet are down, probably don't need the chair there. And if you want to work on your balance, keep your head and neck aligned with your spine, look ahead, and reach. All right, so aiming for like kind of a straight line from fingertips to the toes. Doesn't have to be a perfectly straight line. All right, now that we have it, let's go a little faster. So down, exhale, reach, lunge, pull, reach. Now you don't have to stay down here too long, but when you come up here stay for at least a breath. Make sure you're balanced. Because if you just rush through it quickly, it's like up, down, up, down. Well, do you even know if you're balanced? You don't, because you put your foot down right away. So go at your own pace here, because I do want you to feel sort of the push off, right? The push off, and then the control of decelerating. Because if I pushed off and didn't decelerate, I would just keep flying to my chair, which is not what we want. So open up that chest. Great for your posture. Remember, our posture tends to be a drop chest. So this lifting of the chest is really good. And I stay lifted in the chest. Pull. Stretch the calves. I'm using so I do a little bend in the back knee just to push up. That's the only time my knee bends. Let's do one more here. Good. Did you need the chair? And it's totally fine if you need a chair. I would say that sometimes we rely on the chair a lot and we don't try without it. So I would encourage you to at least try one or two without the chair, without reaching for it. And then if you need it, if you don't need it, then don't use it. But if you do need it, then use it. We won't know until we try. All right. I'm just going to stay with the same side, but I'm going to use my back leg. And you can just sort of see how it looks. There's nothing different about the upper body. We're just switching legs. Let's just go right into it. Pull and reach. Wow, this side is like my less stronger side, so I may need the chair for this side. We all have asymmetries in our body, and we balance on one leg better than the other. Okay, now I'm gonna attempt to look at you guys, because every time I do, I lose my balance. Okay, as I come into this arabesque, it is another arabesque. I'm trying to keep my hips square to the floor, keeping my standing legs slightly bent. Once again, it's doing more work stabilizing. Pull, feel the shoulder blades slide together, and your shoulder blades should come to about neutral. A little faster, a little more propulsion, a little more momentum than in our other exercises. And this is also involving the arms, upper body. So you don't necessarily need dumbbells in your hands to feel upper body muscles. Finish two more. All right, good. So I am going to get rid of my chairs to free up some space over here. Let's work on internal. This is internal rotation, external. Sometimes you see it like this, internal, external. So we're going to hold our arms up here. Let's just get into a comfortable stance. Soft knees, braced abs. Down, up, in. So we're looking for really sharp lines. So my forearms are parallel to each other. My upper arms, my triceps, in a sense, are parallel to the floor. And I'm really trying to keep my elbows at shoulder height the entire time. I'm not bringing my hands all the way together. I'm just stopping at about shoulder distance. Generally, when we move and align to our joints, it's safer for our joints. So we align a lot of our foot positions to our hips. We align a lot of our arm positions to our shoulders. So this is our working our rotators. If you happen to have 1, 2, or 3 pound dumbbells, you can hold them. I wouldn't go higher than 3. We do many reps and we keep the motion pretty small. This is not a huge range of motion. So the muscles get fatigued pretty quickly. And let's not forget about our posture here. Chest is up, abdominals are braced. Again, soft knees, not locking up the joints. All right, last round through. And from here, go ahead and straighten out your arms. Okay. And make little circles. I'm going forward, I guess over the top forward. It doesn't matter. We're going to change direction. And here, same thing. I try not to lock out my elbows. It's not as big a deal. We're not holding weights in our hands, so it isn't critical that we don't lock out our elbows. But if you are holding weights in your hands, you definitely don't want to lock out your elbows. There's a lot of strain on the elbow joints. And our goal here is to work the muscles, not strain the joints. Good. Circle back. And now it kind of looks the same what I'm doing, but basically very, very small circles out to the side. You should almost feel your shoulder blades gently squeezing together a little bit. Because if I'm just going to turn to the side, if your arms are forward like this, then your shoulder blades will be a little more separated. You don't need to be behind your body, but you want to be pretty much to the side. So you can at least gently squeeze your shoulder blades together a little bit because your arms are directly to the side. You wouldn't be able to do that if your arms are too far forward. And that's kind of a quick sort of test of if your arms are in the right position. Oh, I think my arms are, I think my shoulders are done. All right, we're gonna do some triceps. We're gonna actually go to the ground here. How do we get to the ground? We're gonna walk our way down. So that happens to be a wall behind me. If I was really up against the wall, I'd feel my head away from the wall, shoulder, all that stuff. So we're just gonna imagine that we're all up against the wall. Take your head away, and your shoulders come away from the wall. Your spine, from the top down to the lumbar spine, your butt is still against the wall. Bend your knees if you need to reach the floor, and now we're gonna walk it out. We're coming into our high plank. The wrists are underneath the shoulders. My eye gaze is on the floor between my thumbs. I'm squeezing my glutes, quads, my abs. All right, it looks like a very good neutral spine position, but horizontal. This is a lot of work to maintain. If you want to do push-ups with your toes, you can. I'm not like that. So I'm going to bend my knees, and I'm going to pull my knees right under my hips. Back a little bit. Remember what I said about aligning to your joints? So you want the wrists underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. When we do our tricep push-ups, we're going to bend the elbows towards my hips, towards my thighs, and my spine and head as one unit is just going to tip forward. As if I had a ball on my tailbone and I wanted to roll down my spine over the top of my head and onto the floor. I created a nice ramp for it by bending my elbows. The elbows stay in, not out. So we want it to go back towards your thighs. And you should feel your triceps here. If you don't, check that you're not shifting your butt back. Right? The butt is over the knees, and then as I tilt forward, my butt either stays over the knees or goes slightly ahead of the knees. But the butt should not go behind the knees. And that's kind of one of the main things about feeling your triceps. You need to kind of have your body shift forward a little bit. Hopefully we're still breathing here. Let's do two more. Inhale on the way down. Exhale on the way up. Now, one other thing to caution out for is that you don't reach your head forward to start the movement. See there? My head is here. I reach forward. No. I'm going to try to keep my head in line with my spine. And really, all I'm doing is bending my elbows. So if I was wearing a neck brace, it wouldn't allow me to move my head forward. Bending elbows is it. That's it for this movement. You know? Nothing else. All right. Let's give our arms a little break. I'll come back and do some dumbbells. And we're still going to work some arms, so no fret here. So here's the basic crunch, which I always like to show people because if there's anything else I'm doing that bothers your lower back or neck, this is sort of a pretty safe and effective exercise. You know, your neck is supported, most of your spine is on the mats, you're imprinted.
and you're lifting head, neck, and shoulder blades off the floor, which is the requirement to work your abdominals, right? Spine flexion. So you can always come back to here. And now we're going to just do some variation. What I'm going to do is roll you all the way up. So you can kick your legs out at the same time if you like. So
then roll up. A little bit of momentum maybe. That's okay. Now I'm going to anchor the heels as we roll down. You don't have to put your arm behind the head again. I'm going to bend your knees again, reach the arms up, and then kick the legs out. So this gets motion and mobility in your spine. Notice how we're rolling down one vertebra at a time. Good. And in the sort of more traditional days, I don't know, that's not the right way of saying it. So back when I was growing up, what we did in PE class all the time, keep going, is that someone would sit on your feet and you would do these like full body crunches like this, right? I don't know if you remember that. Which there's nothing wrong with that really, except for the fact that someone was anchoring their feet so that we could actually use our leg muscles to sort of assist with our abs. And then the second thing is it was just pure momentum. We're going so fast, it was just like we're throwing our heads up and down. We weren't even thinking about our abs. Should be kind of scary, right? I'm not thinking about our spine and something that's really, really important to our body. So this is kind of similar to that full body crunch up, except we don't have someone sitting on our legs. And we're going through that full range of motion in a slow, safe manner. Good. Spine, a healthy spine should have this mobility, that it can create this curvature, right? Like your spine shouldn't be so stiff that you can't move it. There's a difference between stability and stiffness. If we're holding a plank, it's not because you have a stiff spine, it's because you have a stable spine. All right, last one, and then we're going to stay up. And we're going to get into our arms again. So we're going to actually have our arms slightly ahead, not always to the side. The side is going to be a little hard. So we're going to start with the front. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Oh, sorry, we got to bend our knees. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Start to curve back, but don't go all the way down. Find a position where it's challenging for you. Pulse, pulse. And then, once you've found that position that's challenging, we're going to start pulsing our hands up to the side. So again, utilizing our shoulders, not straining the neck. How far to the side can you? Really start to feel the challenge. Try to anchor the toes to the ground. Let's bring it back forward. Challenge number 2. Feet are off the ground. So forget anchoring the toes. Pat the water. Let's say you have a bunch of cats and they're all like lined up to be patted on the head. Wait, do cats like that? No, probably not. I don't know anything about cats. Maybe dogs, bunch of dogs. Pat each one on the head. Again, we're just creating that pulsing motion in the shoulders. So final challenge number 3 is, again, you can keep your feet on the ground. You can keep your knees bent. Final challenge number 3 is legs straight, pulse, pulse. This is the last thing we're doing. Going out to the side, again, feeling the challenge in your arm positions change. And done here. All right. We have a minute. I guess I could stretch a little bit, but I'd really like to actually do your spine. So just to even ourselves out from all that spine work and spine flexion, a little bit of spine extension. Options here, one arm opposite leg, lifting at a time, or you can lift all 4. So the goal here is our spine is extending, it's arching, it's doing the opposite of the rounding we just did in the roll up. One more time. Good. And then just making sure your spine feels A-okay.
You can come to your hands and knees. Once again, aligning the wrist under the shoulders, knees, and the hips. And just taking your not stiff spine through its full range of motion. So our end goal for doing bar and Pilates and other movements, let's just do a quick stretch here, especially for all the squats we did earlier. So this is one way to stretch your quads. Another way to stretch your quads is actually getting into a lunge again, which sometimes people don't really want to do that because it's like, feel a lot of muscles as you're stretching the muscle. So this one is balance challenge, but it does allow you to have the legs straight and to stretch the quads without really putting a lot of pressure or work into the other muscles. Oh, I started saying something. I totally forgot what I was saying. But in general, the purpose of your spine health is that if you sit in the same position for a long time, like at a laptop, it starts to get stiff. It just doesn't move as much anymore because it's just stuck in the same position all the time. So the muscles almost, get tight and form around the bones. And then once the muscles are tight, it moves less. Then the bones start to get a little more stuck in their ways too. So the more we can move our body, especially like after an hour of sitting at the desk, the better it is for our spine. And remember, we can do stuff like rotates, releasing the heel. We can arch, right? Chest opening, and we can flex. We're most likely already flexed, so don't need to worry too much about that one. Worry more about the arching and the rotation and the side bend. Ah, yeah, that's one more. Look at all the cool things our spine can do. Thank you so much for taking some time in the middle of your day to do bar with me. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.